Hello, UCAR. Peter Christensen here, coming to you from the CEO's desk. I'm going to continue talking about some basic concepts in the REPC and in contracts in general. Well, this one's actually very REPC specific. So there are a few conditions in the REPC, and the conditions you're probably the most familiar with are the three big conditions that have deadlines associated with them. And that's the due diligence condition and the finance condition and the appraisal condition. Now, those are three different conditions. Now, two of them are very similar, and the language is very similar. And one is a little different in its requirement. But they are three distinct, different conditions. And this is important because two of them are lumped together. So we often reference the finance and appraisal deadline, right? That's in the REPC. It's a deadline, but it is actually referring to two separate conditions, right? You have finance and appraisal. Even though we lump them together, finance and appraisal, if I'm canceling, I have to do it by finance and appraisal. Yeah, it's an important important time frame within the contract is when you hit that date, but they are two very distinct conditions. And so let's say they were separated. Could they be? Yeah, they may have been in the past. I know there's been talk of it in the last iteration of the REPC, and maybe it could happen in this next version of the REPC, update of the REPC. So understanding what they do. So due diligence, it has that language in it, sole discretion. If the buyer in their sole discretion is not, and I'm paraphrasing, is not satisfied with the due diligence. So they've done their due diligence, they've done their testing, they've done their inspections, and they're not satisfied with the results of that, then by having that condition active in the contract, they can cancel in their sole discretion. So what does the finance condition say? Well, again, buyer in their sole discretion, if they're not satisfied with the terms of the loan or the financing, then they can cancel based off that in their sole discretion. So similar language in that it's just up to the buyer, right? In my sole discretion, I'm no longer satisfied with the results of the due diligence, with the terms of the lending, and therefore I have a right to cancel. Appraisal is a little different. So appraisal requires something to happen. It requires a low appraisal. So appraisal under the agreed upon purchase price. And so that's something, a condition that has to happen before it triggers the right of the buyer to cancel the contract. And it also carries with it in the current contract and probably the next one, a different situation. So for instance, right now you can put in 8.3 of the REPC, you can put additional earnest money in that goes hard after the due diligence deadline, but so a portion of it, but so if you cancel after that deadline, you as a seller get a portion of the earnest money, except it doesn't override the appraisal condition to say if I cancel because of appraisal, I get all the earnest money back. Whereas if I cancel because of finance, I only get the portion back that we wrote in the contract. And so again, a different consequence for canceling based off of appraisal versus finance. And so they are two different things. They do operate differently. They are triggered differently. One simply has a deadline. You could use it any time. The appraisal, on the other hand, requires you get that low appraisal. So be aware of the differences between those. Those might be more prominent in the next version of the REPC. And so it's good to understand how each of those individually work and how you, on behalf of a buyer, might use one of those three and the circumstances and the consequences of using each one. So just something to be aware of. And remember, this is not legal advice. This is legal information only. If you need specific legal advice, please contact your attorney. Thanks for tuning in.